Hello everyone and welcome back to another Hard Count podcast, and today we're going to be talking about Tom Brady and why, in my opinion, he is nowhere close to being the MVP of the NFL in 2021. Real quick though, before we get into the video, I just want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button. It would really mean a lot to me, so thanks for that, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. Tom Brady, in his second season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he leads the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns, leading the BUCS to a 6-2 record thus far. And naturally, as there always is in the NFL community, debates are occurring as to who is the NFL MVP this year. And right now, Tom Brady's name is who is being brought up the most. But for me, that's ridiculous. To me, Tom Brady's season is being completely overrated, and he is in no way the MVP of the NFL this season. So real quickly, let's take a look at why exactly people are on this Brady hype train. Why are people saying he's the MVP? Well, ultimately, the main reason is because of his statistics that I named earlier. He leads the league in passing yards with 2,650. He leads the NFL in touchdowns with 25. And he only has 5 interceptions to go along with that. Pretty impressive numbers, right? I agree. Those numbers are very good. And if there was an award called Most Stats Award, I would agree. Tom Brady should win it. His stats are great. But unfortunately for Tom, the award is called MVP, the Most Valuable Player Award, and not the Most Stats Award. Statistics do not equal value in the NFL. They're a number that factors in every player on the field and the coaching on the sideline. A player can throw a pass to a wide open receiver 20 yards down the field, and on the stat sheet, that's going to show up the same way as a perfectly thrown pass into a tight window 20 yards down the field. Obviously, the second one is a better display of value and a much better play, but they're going to show up the same on the stat sheet. One of my favorite examples of stats being a product of the entire offense alongside the offensive system is the 2019 passing yards leaders. Here they are up on the screen. Number 1, Jameis Winston. Number 2, Dak Prescott. Number 3, Jared Goff. Number 4, Phillip Rivers. And number 5, Matt Ryan. Obviously, in no way, the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. So, why are they leading the league in passing yards? The stats were a product of the offenses that they were in. Very pass-heavy offenses with good passing weapons. The volume of passing to good weapons equals good statistics naturally. Now, this is the exact situation that Tom Brady is in Tampa Bay. They're an offense that relies heavily on their passing game. They have great receiving weapons. The stats are going to look good for Tom Brady. He's throwing a lot and throwing to great players. Statistics do not define value in the NFL because they are a product of more than just the quarterback. So now, let's look at the Buccaneers roster. They have a top 5 defense in the NFL, 3 top 15 to 20 receivers in the NFL to make up probably the best receiving corps in the NFL, an elite offensive line that gives Brady plenty of time to throw, and a good coaching staff. The Buccaneers are stacked from top to bottom. Brady is not needed for this team to have success. The offense is laid out on a silver platter for him a lot of the time. He has receivers open all over the field. He has great protection to throw to those receivers. And I will give a little bit of credit to Tom Brady. He does a very nice job. He's accurate. He doesn't make too many mistakes. He's a good leader. And he does make this Buccaneers team better. But Brady doesn't create too much outside of the system. He plays within it. He's not someone that's going to run around and throw off his back foot to create a play. He's someone that's going to hit Antonio Brown on a 15-yard in-cut in the middle of the field from a clean pocket. Yes, the stat sheet looks good, but when you break it down, many of the plays made by Tom Brady that look good on the stat sheet could have been made by 15 to 20 other quarterbacks in the NFL. Let me put it this way. The Buccaneers' offense is dependent on everyone else doing what they need to do for Brady to make a successful pass. While offenses like the Bills or the Ravens often rely on the quarterbacks to create that opportunity to make a successful pass. The help around Brady is a large part of why they are as good as they are. So now, let's play a little game here. I'm going to read you two teams and leave out the quarterback, and you're going to guess their record. So for the first team, they've got a top 5 defense, top 3 receiving corps, top 3 offensive line. All right, I'll give you a second to guess. Then the second team, a below average defense this year, average receivers, and a slightly below average offensive line this year. What record did you guess for the first team? Maybe 6-2, 7-1, somewhere around there. Now how about the second team? Probably 4-5, 3-6, something like that seems fair, right? Well, the two teams that I just described to you, Team 1, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this season, and Team 2, the Baltimore Ravens this season. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 6-2, and the Baltimore Ravens are 6-3. When I gave you what Team 1 had, your guess was that this team would be good, very good even, have a record of probably 6-2, maybe 7-1 even, and you were correct. The Buccaneers are 6-2. They're a good team, one of the best teams in the league. But that's just as you would expect, based on all their talent, even with me leaving out the quarterback. Then we look at Team 2. Your guess probably should have been somewhere around 4-5, 3-6, probably a slightly below average team based on those surrounding pieces. And, well, would you look at that? The Ravens are actually 6-3 and in contention for being the best team in the AFC. So my point out of all of that is that with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson is significantly outperforming the expectations you would have for a team with that supporting cast, while the Buccaneers with Brady are performing about as you would expect of a team with his supporting cast. That is what defines value. If you take said player off of the team, how much would the team be impacted? And as we can see, the Ravens without Lamar Jackson would be much more negatively impacted than the BUCS would be without Tom Brady, which naturally means a guy like Lamar Jackson is more valuable to his team than a guy like Tom Brady. So, value is not in statistics. It is in how much your team would suffer without you. How much are you creating? Are you someone that is not replaceable in the system? Yes, Brady is playing well. He is doing a nice job within the Buccaneers system. But as we look around the league and see guys doing just as much with a lot less, it becomes clear that the title of most valuable player in the NFL is not one that belongs to Tom Brady.